A minimalist budget is all about more, getting more out of life and being in control of your money. Today, I'm going to share 5 minimalist money habits and how we budget as a minimalist family. If you're new here, my name is Shannon and you can hit the subscribe button to join my channel. And I'd like to thank Audible today for sponsoring this video, but more on that a little bit later. A lot of people hear the word minimalist budget and they think it's going to be about less, having less, buying less, but really it's about more. It's getting more out of your money and more out of your life. And of course, these are all tips that have worked for us and helped us with our minimalist budget, but I'm not an expert, so always do your due diligence and look up everything online or find an expert to help you. And let's get right into the first minimalist habit. Direct money to what is important and be very intentional with purchases. A minimalist budget is a little bit different than just a thrifty person. A thrifty person might go and cut coupons, where a person on a minimalist budget would be very intentional, do a lot of research before they go out and buy something, and get what they truly need and want in their lives, and they won't just go purchase it because it's a great deal. Some questions you can ask yourself are, do I need this item? Can I afford it? And then think of the trade-offs. There will always be trade-offs. You'll have to either work more or you'll have to save more and spend less in the future when you make certain purchases. Habit number 2 is to set priorities and goals for your money. The goals you will set will be completely personal to you, and of course these will be different for everyone. To list a few motivations, it could be to retire early, to get a different job where you're going to be happier but maybe make less money. Maybe you want to save for a down payment on a home. Maybe you want to pay off debt. There are so many different reasons to save money and have a goal and priority. But the great thing about having a goal or priority when you are saving is when you give up certain purchases, so maybe you're not gonna buy the latest, greatest phone, whatever you're giving up, instead of feeling bad about that, like you're missing out, you will probably feel great because you know you're going to be adding to your goal and you're going to be reaching that goal sooner by giving up certain purchases that you might have made without thinking. Habit number 3 is to manage your budget. This can be very simple. Just add up your net sum, so everything you make in a month, and then you're going to add up all your expenses. And the goal here is obviously to make sure that you are making more than you are spending. And then you can really analyze all of your purchases and see where your money is going. And then you can set aside the money that you need to reach your goals. As I mentioned before, today's video is sponsored by Audible, and I read a wonderful book called The Minimalist Budget by Jennifer Scott. The great thing about listening to an audiobook is you can do this when you are driving in your car. You can listen while doing the dishes. Audiobooks are amazing, and it's a great way to learn when you're on the go or when you don't have a lot of time. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment, all in one place. At Audible, you can find the largest selection of audiobooks ranging from bestsellers to new releases. This book went into really great detail and showed so many different ways to make a minimalist budget work for you. There is not just one way to do something, so I highly recommend this book. New members get to try Audible for 30 days on them. Visit audible.com/Shannon Torrens, and I will have all the information linked down below. And with the Audible membership, you can download titles and listen anytime, anywhere, which is super convenient and also goes along with minimalism because that way you don't have a bunch of books cluttering up your home. So if you are interested in reading Minimalist Budget by Jennifer Scott or all of the other amazing minimalist and decluttering books that I found on there, make sure you check the link down below and visit audible.com/Shannon Torrens or text Shannon Torrens to 500-500. Number 4 is very important, and this is to plan for certain expenses that you know will inevitably come up. So for instance, every year we have to pay our property taxes. So I make sure that I am setting aside enough money and saving enough money for that. Another thing that you can just anticipate will probably happen is an accident or health crisis or something that needs to happen with your teeth, and all of that can be anticipated and offset by having health insurance, and there are a ton of different options. It's always good to be ready and be anticipating things that can happen in life. Accidents you need to plan for, because I know I have 2 kids. We've been to the emergency before, and thank goodness we have health insurance and we've pre-planned for that, because if not, it can be very expensive. And number 5 is to declutter and simplify your financial life. So make sure that you have all of your finances set up in the simplest way possible, because when things are overwhelming, I know I just don't even want to deal with it. So make sure you don't have too many checking accounts and too many hoops that you have to jump through to get things paid off. I like to set up automated payments and just make everything as simple as possible. And I feel this really goes along the lines of being minimalist, which is just simplifying as many things in your life as possible so you can focus on the things that you truly love. Now I'd like to talk about how we save our money and how we spend our money as a minimalist family of 4. Just a quick note on my personality. I am a saver by nature. I love to save money. I've been this way since I was a child. Whenever I would get money for birthdays or Christmas, I would save that money, I would put it into a checking account, and by the time I was 18, I had quite a lot of money saved up from every job that I worked. I would always save money. So I am a natural saver, and thankfully that has worked for me to be able to save money for different goals that I've had throughout my life. Our family has 2 main goals when we are saving our money. Number 1 is for long-term savings for retirement. So we like to focus on that, and the other goal in my mind is to pay down our mortgage early. And we are not putting a ton of money to that right now because we need our money for our everyday life expenses and certain things that could pop up. But I am being very conscious to try to add a little bit extra every month onto our mortgage so we can pay that down a little bit faster, while also still saving for retirement. Because of my husband's job and what we do for a living, we do not have any kind of special retirement fund or any kind of extra money from employers going to retirement, so we have to do that ourselves. So that is front and center in my mind. Being in my mid-30s, that's just a goal that I have. Luckily, we do not have any debt besides our mortgage, and that is simply because, like I said, I'm a planner, I'm a saver, and we also tend to buy a lot of things secondhand. So we both have secondhand cars that we paid for in full and that sort of thing. So like I mentioned in the habits, sometimes when you are really trying to reach a goal, you have to give up other things. So instead of getting a new car, we got used cars, and therefore we're able to save faster towards things that we really want to do, like retire hopefully early and go on vacation once in a while and that sort of thing. Being a minimalist, we try to spend more of our money on experiences rather than on things. Right now, because we bought a fixer-upper, which was very intentional, I looked for a home that needed a lot of work so we could get it cheaper. Therefore, our property taxes will be cheaper, and it was easier to get a loan and that sort of thing. And then we're now investing money to fix this house up. And I don't just mean to make it look pretty on the inside. We had to repipe the house, we had to get a new roof, the house had to be painted. So there were a lot of structural things that had to be fixed on this home, and as well as plumbing in the house and that sort of thing. So a lot of our budget is going into our home currently, but the plan is in the next year or 2, we will have all those projects done so that all of those funds can be going straight into our retirement and into our vacation fund for more experiences. And that was another thing that was mentioned in the Minimalist Budget book that I loved, which was try not to have too many different goals all at one time because it will be harder to reach all of them. If you have the goal to go on vacation every year and to pay off all your debt and to get into a home, that's great, but you're better off focusing on 1 or 2 goals to save for and work towards so you can get them done and then move on to the next goal. We budget by using the 50-20-30 rule, which is 50% of our money goes to pay for all of our monthly expenses that we have to pay for, necessities. So that's gonna be electricity, gas, our home, all that sort of stuff. Then 20% of our income goes into savings. So that could be going into savings for fixing up our home, the retirement, and also into an emergency fund for things that could come up. And then 30% of our income is discretionary, which means we can use that however we want. I usually end up having a lot of that discretionary money left over since we're not buying a whole bunch of stuff, and a lot of the time we are here at home and we're working on our house, so a lot of that gets reinvested into our goal, into our savings, or into our home at this point. So that's just what works for us. There are so many different ways to budget, and that Minimalist Budget book goes over a lot of the different ways, and you gotta pick something that will work for you, that you can deal with, because everybody's different, and this is what really works for us. The other thing we did was we simplified everything as much as possible. We only have 1 checking account, 1 savings account. We have 1 set of diversified investments that I work with an investment company with. And then we have 2 credit cards and a debit card. This has simplified everything. I've heard of people recommending having 7 checking accounts, and I just cannot imagine having to figure all that out, and the logistics of that sounds like a nightmare to me. So simplifying everything as much as possible has brought minimalism into our financial life and has really helped me to keep everything straight and know where everything is going and what we have. I had a lot of comments on my video, the things that we no longer buy since being minimalist, so hopefully this will answer some of the questions on what we do buy and how we spend our money as a minimalist family. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to never miss a video. And thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.